That's nice. That's real good.
Well deserved, I'm sure.
That's right.
So yeah, because you submitted them for. I can read it if you want. But,
No problem. Whatever you prefer.
yeah, I think it'd be cooler. He'd like it more. He don't know me. He knows.
Yeah.
But this is this the mayor?
It's going well. There's no benchmark by which you can make it. Progress. I am doing something.
One of his guys
spending a lot of time on it. But we are getting things done.
This is Senator Randall.
Are you following me?
Congressman Kelly.
Another
Senator Representative Terrence Senator. And one of them.
Facebook, they're trying to get a bill out.
He's running for. But yeah, I guess you may want to
You are?
Script.
We gotta do a minute. Turn on? Turn on? Oh, this one. This one.
Yes. Buenos días. Good morning. We just wanted to start with a minute of silence and to pay respect and honor our victims of the terrorist attack. Right now. Thank you. Let me introduce our MC. She is an amazing person representing Kids Up Strong Innovation. Please welcome Christina Rourke. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here on the solemn day of remembrance and opening this morning with a moment of silence for human life. Greetings, good morning, magandang umaga, buenos dias, hachlakel, talafa lava, and hafate. My name's Christina Rourke again. I'm the co-director at Kids Up Strong. It's a privilege and honor to be gathered with all of you. We know that resiliency is a community experience. It is not an individual characteristic. And may this day remind us to love deeply, as love is not performative, nor, just going to make sure I don't mess up and love is an action. So this is a community coming together in times of celebration and in times of crisis, because we are always dependent upon one another for mutual support. We share the same. And so this day is an important day for us to remember how we navigate crisis and challenges, including, but also how we prepare and plan for an event that may present itself in our community's future. When we need each other, we need strong relationships where we rely on our neighbors, our village, to navigate through any crisis. So thank you all for being here today on 9/11 to honor the past and present sacrifice of service. I want to acknowledge this as our 7th annual 9/11 service sacrifice of service event. We good to go? Okay. Organized by co-founders Martita May, founder of Kitsap Immigrant Assistance Center and Kitsap Mesa Redonda, and Akuye Karen Vargas, founder of Living Life Leadership, Living Arts Cultural Heritage Project, and Tomache Vargas, whose life shifted on 9/11, and now faithfully the memory of his friend Brian Amos. We want to acknowledge everyone gathered today to honor the lives that were lost 21 years ago and recognize the lives that were forever changed by the events that day. And if we've learned anything in these last 2 years, we want, as a shared experience, we want to acknowledge all of our first responders who have tirelessly engaged with community in moments of crisis to create connections that are in service of a more resilient community. So to begin our welcoming, it is my honor and privilege to invite Guylan Charles to offer an acknowledgement of the land we gather on today. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, and I will be reading the land acknowledgement. Every part of this soil is sacred in the estimation of my people. Every hillside, every valley, every plain and grove has been hallowed by some sad or happy event in days long vanished. We would like to begin to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is within the ancestral territory of the Sequabs people of the clear salt water. Expert fishermen, canoe builders, and basket weavers, the Sequabs lived in harmony with the lands and waterways along Washington's central Salish Sea as they have for thousands of years. Here the Sequabs live and protect the lands and waters of their ancestors for future generations as promised by Point Elliott of 1855. Thank you.
Thank you, Guyland, and thanks again to our host, the Suquamish tribe, whose people's life has modeled for us community resiliency, and that we are only as strong and resilient as our relationships. Thank you for your continued leadership, offering care, and stewardship of our land, waterways, and neighbors. So this morning, we also want to open up with 3 prayers. So first, we welcome up, just give a moment for people. First, we welcome up Pastor Yusin of Emmanuel Apostolic Church, then Pastor Jose Perez of Monte Sinai, and then close with Derek Polk representing our Baha'i faith community. Pastor Yusin, thank you.
Let us bow our heads. Dear God, we thank you, first of all, for allowing us to gather today and giving us such a beautiful day to recognize and celebrate the lives that were lost on this very day. We ask that you continue to bless those families of those that were lost, oh God. Comfort them, strengthen them, and encourage them. And Lord, as this being the 7th anniversary, 7 representing completion, calls us as a community to come together and begin to be a light that is so much needed in this time. We ask, oh God, bless this occasion today. Cause your spirit to rest upon it. Cause your spirit to cause us to come together as a community and be a light that sits on a hill. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity. We thank you for those who have gathered today. And Lord, we pray that this day will go down, it will become a springboard for things to come. Let Bremerton shine bright. Let Bremerton shine like no other place, oh God. And that we will be the community that will show the world how it's done. We thank you for it even right now. We love you and appreciate you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amén. Gloria al Señor. Que Dios los bendiga a todos. Amén.
God bless everyone here today.
Mi nombre es José Pérez. Yo soy el pastor de la iglesia Monte Sinaí, aquí en Bremerton. Y es una bendición para mí estar aquí con todos ustedes. A la señora Martita que dio la oportunidad de venir. Y pues estamos muy contentos, ya que hoy es un momento como todos, que nadie esperaba en el momento que sucediera, como 11 de septiembre. Y ven todas las personas que pudieron perder su familia, gloria al Señor, y nadie esperaba en ese momento, y así gente, nadie puede esperar la venida del Señor, pero nosotros estamos a tiempo para preparar nuestra vida. Amén.
Amén. Amén. Gloria a Dios.
Así que vamos a orar, inclinar nuestro rostro y vamos a orar por todas las víctimas. Padre, en el nombre de Cristo Jesús, te damos gracias, Señor. Te damos gracias, Padre, en el nombre de Cristo Jesús, Padre, a todas las personas, Señor. En ese momento, Padre Santo, a mucha familia, a muchos seres queridos, Señor. Pero Dios, tu palabra, Padre, es viva. Y, Señor, tú estás, Padre Santo, para ayudar a todas aquellas personas, Padre Santo. Señor, te damos gracias, Padre. Y bendiga a toda familia, Padre. Bendiga a todos sus seres queridos, Señor. Padre, dejamos todo en tus manos, Padre. Y que seas tú el que tome el control sobre las autoridades, Padre. Las autoridades, Señor, que hicieron un esfuerzo en ese día, Padre. Pero Dios, bendígalo, Padre. Ayúdalos, Señor, a toda la comunidad y a todas las personas, Padre. En el nombre de Cristo Jesús. Gracias, Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo. Amén.
Amén.
Y
Gloria a
amén.
Dios. Amén.
I am going to read a prayer written by Abdul Baha, the son of Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith. O my Lord, my defender, my help in peril, lowly do I entreat thee. Ailing come unto thee to be healed. Humbly do I cry out to thee with my tongue, my spirit. O God, my God, the gloom of night hath shrouded every region, and all the earth is shut away behind thick clouds. The peoples of the world are sunk in the black depths of vain illusions, while their tyrants wallow in cruelty and hate. I see nothing but the glare of searing fires that blaze upward from the nethermost abyss. I hear nothing save the thunderous roar that belloweth out from thousands upon thousands of fiery weapons of assault, while every land is crying aloud in its secret tongue. My riches avail me nothing, and my sovereignty hath perished. O my Lord, the lamps of guidance have gone out. The flames of passion are mounting high, and malevolence is ever gaining on the world. Malice and hate have overspread the face of the whole earth, and I find no souls except thine own oppressed small band who are raising up this cry. Make haste to love, make haste to trust, make haste to give, to guidance come. Come ye for harmony, to behold the star of day. Kindness for ease. Come here for amity and peace. Come and cast down your weapons of wrath to unity as one. Come and in the Lord's true path, each one help each one. Verily with exceeding joy, with heart and soul, do these oppressed of thine offer themselves up for all mankind in every land. Thou seest them, O my Lord, over the tears thy people shed, mourning the grief of thy children, condoling with humankind, suffering because of the calamities that beset all the denizens of the earth. O my Lord, wing them with victory that they may soar upward to salvation. Strengthen their loins in service to thy people, and their backs in servitude to thy threshold of holiness. thou art the generous. Verily, thou art the merciful. There is none other God save thee, the clement, the pitiful, the ancient of days.
Thank you, gracias, Pastor Yusin, Pastor Perez, and Mr. Polk, for your messages of unity and a reminder that no matter what languages we speak, our light, we are stronger together. And it is through the unity that we continue to flourish together. Amen. So now we'd all like for you to be rise, if you can, for the parading of colors from the Bremerton Naval Hospital Color Guard. We thank you for your service. And following them, Brittany B. Gent is going to sing the national anthem. Color Guard, parade the colors, please.
Carry. Colors. Ready. 2. Forward. March. Ready. Hold. Left. Face.
Oh, say, can you see by its early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight? Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Color Guard, retire color.
Forward. March.
Thank you to the color guards for presenting and retiring the colors. And thank you so much, Bijan, for your incredible performance. Acknowledge that we live as we dream. We can use opportunities of gathering like today to dream together of our community that we want our children and our grandchildren to have. So thank you again for being here today in this important moment. And I want to just ask you to please find your way back down and settle in, get comfortable. Appreciate you. Good morning. So next, I want to welcome forward Tamachi Vargas for his 7th presentation of the Brian Moss Award.
Thanks for coming, various representatives and dignitaries, whoever you are. I can't name you all because I'll forget somebody. This is the 7th Sacrifice of Service program that we've been having. There is an award as for us friends. "21 years, it still doesn't get any easier." Wrote a bio about my friend Brian. His name was Brian Anthony Moss, born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, October 28th, 1966. He died 9/11/2001. Brian Anthony Moss was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Billy and Patsy. I didn't know this. I can ask his wife, but it's some kind of type of fractional number, so don't give me a lion. Sperry High School, Sperry, Oklahoma, 1984. He in the Navy, March 1990. He completed RMA school in San Diego, also in 90. He was then stationed in Adak, Alaska in 91, where he met his future wife, Mary Lou. They were 2. I'm sure with discussion with his wife. We signed up for the submarine service, Kings Bay, Georgia, in 1993. Child Ashton, April 7th, 1994. Short and only submarine, USS Alabama, SSBN 731 Blue. He qualified in submarines sometime around 95. I don't have the date exactly. I was there, but I can't remember the patrol. In class while on board. His family welcomed their second child, Connor, April 10th, 1996. He transferred to New Guard in September 1998. During his tour, he served as leading petty officer for the following divisions: details, 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th, as well as drill master. He was also handpicked to serve as the training platoon LPO. As a second-class petty officer, his wife wanted me to make sure that I elected as a sailor of the quarter, first quarter captain for both the Ceremonial Guard and Naval District, Washington. He was selected sailor of the quarter, fourth quarter for the Ceremonial Guard. He was also selected as sailor of the year for Ceremonial Guard calendar year 2000 and 2001. He was selected as Naval District, Washington sailor of the year calendar year 01. Let us keep in mind that he was times as a second class petty officer. He reported to the Pentagon August 2001. The week before the September 11th attacks. That happened, and it was found that he had advanced to ET1 on that exam, and he was posthumously awarded ET1 before his burial in October 2001 in Arlington. So this particular award to me was a lot of information that I didn't know about my friend. I didn't know that he was sailor of the year or sailor of the quarter or anything like that. We just knew that he was where he wanted, and he was doing what he wanted to do. And when he was on board with us, we, as anybody that's in the Navy or whatever branches you're in, we give each other a fair amount of ribbing and a fair amount of other stuff. And once he got to DC, I would call him probably at midnight, usually, like here. And a running joke between us, he's like, dude, that's the only time I know you're going to answer the phone, because I'd call him and I'd get his seaman secretary, and petty officer Moss was never in. So I'd call him at midnight, and that was just our running joke. But one of the, I guess you finally got to some place and give you respect you think you deserve. Wasn't on a boat. What I'd like to do now is I'll have my wife Karen to come up and read about one of our awardees, and I'll just say it's a bittersweet award because we were trying with us, and cancer decided. So I'll let her come and speak about one of the awardees.
Good morning, everyone. If I could have DC Curry to come. TC, I'd like you to speak about Robert Body. He was a friend, a wonderful servant to our community here in Kitsap. With him on this morning. We have Deborah Jackson as well, and we also have Lionel.
We're going to have Lionel come first, then Deborah, then myself saying a few things about Robert. Lionel. Excuse me. I want to thank you all for recognizing Robert. And thank you, Mayor Will, you too, all the city constituents. Robert was like a big brother to me. And just give you a rundown how we met and how we served the community. He was president of Power, People Organized Working for Ethnic Reality, and we was working with the youth and stuff. At the time, I so happened to be the vice president. But I met Robert through attended a number of community events. And we found that the goals and objectives that we had were the same. And that was working with the youth and supporting their families. I met him through Pastor Rochelle, who told me to talk to him because we had so much in common, you know, supporting these youth and making sure that they get what they have to get and stuff. So I talked to him from time to time, but I wasn't ready to commit because during the time I was involved in a number of things. So I told him, you know, I think about it. But we kept bumping into each other and issues. We started talking about issues that were continually getting, you know, going on, especially with our youth getting into trouble, joining gangs, stealing, involved in shootings, and going to juvenile detention. Some of these youth we knew personally and their families. They sought us out for assistance. Due to the fact that we resided in the community and was connected to it, they would contact us all the time, over and over. And me, at the time, I was working for the Bremerton School District. I was security supervisor at the Bremerton Junior High School. But I was fair. I was honest. I was strict but reasonable. And for some reason, the kids, they listened to me. You know, I also was working part-time for Kitsap Mental Health Services, Kitsap Recovery Service, going to school at Olympic College, working part-time for the Mental Health Service, Kitsap Recovery Center, and a number of other committees with NAACP, Parks and Recreation, under Mayor Lynn Horton, other things. After a while, he invited me to come to one of the meetings with Power. We met, stressed out, and single parent raising a son, had some mental health challenges. Do a spouse who had some mental health challenges while I was in the military. I couldn't commit the amount of time that they needed for the program. But they told me not to worry about it. It'll be okay. Work around your schedule. I'm like, after going through the meetings and stuff, and they tell me they could work around my schedule, you know, since Robin and I and all, we had the same goals and objectives. I started meeting people, you know, communities like, you know, Will, Mike and Cozy, JD Sweet, Karen, Boggers, TC Curry, and many other members. So, but I went on ahead and did what I had to do, but I didn't know what I was getting into when I got into it. But it turned out to be all right. So after a while, the youth began coming to us seeking assistance on their own, letting us know what was affecting them and their families. They started telling us what they needed and how they were treated in various community programs and how they felt they were helpless and they had. So we listened, brought the issues to the community, talked to their parents, community leaders, and decided that we were going to unite and make a difference and change the current situation and the status. In the process of being in this transition, Pastor and Robert asked me to be the vice president during this time. So I informed them that, again, I had a busy schedule, but I was going to go ahead and do it anyway. So I did it. After a while, the community saw the differences that we were making, were being made, and with the youth, and began working with the Kitsap County Juvenile Detention Program. And we started off working with the soda youth, and then we ended up working with all the youth that was getting in trouble. You know, we were mentors. We began joining trainings related to mediation, the training, and others. We connected with the community, business, elected officials, church pastors, school districts, and other leaders, the NAACP and the CLCA, Community Leadership Coalition Association. Community became business started providing donations to our program. We started taking the youth out on outings, spending time with them, and letting them be youth. And on top of that, we were being positive role models. We had youth that talked about our program so much, how much fun they had, that they were having, and the changes made in their lives, that some of the youth started trying to get in trouble just so they could participate. So we had to tell them, "Oh, you don't have to get in trouble. This is a youth program. It's so funny. Parents would come to us when they were having problems in school with civil rights violations or concerns, and we would meet with the prospective people and get the facts and do our best to resolve the issues and concerns. Robert was the man who made the difference, though. He ruffled a few feathers, but what? Yeah, Robert, you ruffled. Yeah, but whatever the youth needed, he fought to get it.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in 2008, I had to resign due to obtain another employment opportunity in the state of Washington. However, I still remain in contact with Robert and Pastor and the community. I'm still involved. I'm just away, but it's still my home. Especially with Greg. I'm trying to process right now, going through this, but the youth and the families involved with the families too, still involved, and assisted, them with whatever they need, whatever endeavor that they needed to make. That not just being involved with power, but the youth that need assistance, we made sure that they were successful. Robert and I maintained contact with each other about what was happening in the community, the changes that were taking place. He also reminded me that it's all about the youth and bringing change in their lives, no matter what the sacrifice. He wanted to make an example of what a youth program was all about, which was believing in the youth, their family, the community, and the difference that each of us individually could make and make sure that they were successful. If someone asked me what word I'm dedicated, committed, and a determined warrior. To the cause and determined to fight until he got friends. And may he rest in peace and not for also being part of that accomplishment. All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Deborah Moore Jackson with Surviving Change and Hope 360. Robert was a trailblazer. Robert's activist work did just start. He was an adult. Robert and I were always the dynamic duo. We started at West Park Elementary School. And being the leaders, bumping heads. Then we took our work all the way to Kuntz Junior High School, where I remember when we were fighting for MLK Day, and we had nationwide, and I led that walkout. Mr. Jacobson, our Kuntz Junior High School principal, they had barricaded the doors, put chains on the doors to stop us from walking out, because all the other kids at West High, they were doing it. My sister and then with Cody, what you got Dominic. If you know Dominic, it means we're old school. We all know. We had big Keith Griffin there. You know what I'm saying? All the big guys, but it was Robert and I, because, we were on the student council. We've always been leaders, Robert and I. And I'll never forget, we went and took over the off. I called my mama. They invited us in his body and everything. They said go. So we led the march. Oh, I thought I heard somebody say something. Oh. Okay, so anyway, we had led the march, the fight, and the walkout at Kuntz Junior High School. Also back here to Bremerton, Washington, after being away for a while, Robert asked me to join the CLCA. And I said, well, what we gonna do? He goes, well, baby, we the dynamic duo, Yeah, and we were always called he was Batman and I was Robin. I didn't want to be Batgirl, I wanted to be Batman, be Robin. So up until cancer, I just wanted to tell you guys, I talked to Dominic. I was very close to the family. Robert have Candace call and wanted me to come to Tacoma. And Robert, they were transferring him from one facility to another. He caught pneumonia, and his lungs had filled. He was able to take care of him, and he was going to stay with Dominic. Things to take care of him, so he stayed. So I wanted you to know that. And then also Dominic had stated to me before we go ahead and do his final Armand a couple of days, because Armand is in charge, his youngest son. So anyway, I just want to say Robert was my love. We had a special love, a real special love. And I was there with them on many occasions over there, and it made me feel so good for them to contact me and get over here, and I would just come and sit him in the bed, and if his family member, no, Deborah's family. Guys, we had sad cries. Him and my brother and I was very deeply close, but he was a leader. He was a leader. Y'all got to know him. Doing the damn thing, you know what I'm saying? We were so always had him. Excuse me, y'all know I am who I am. That's right. That's right. And he was diehard. Baby was a diehard. He wanted to talk to everybody, want to know what was still going on. Everything. He had asked Jeremiah's son to come over, guiding them, still guiding him. Brother Ron, Frank, keep focus. Get over here. I need to have that talk, you know. And we had several of those. So he community all and I just think we need to know that he took the community to heart, and he took the community to his grave. You know. So anyway, I wanted to tell you, he loved you. Was a damn trailblazer. Believe that.
Good morning. I'm TC Curry, community activist in the community for a number of years. I'm on my heart who to love, learn to be. The first thing I want to say is I just want to send prayers out.
Yes.
It's an honor and a privilege to stand before you today. Thank you, dignitaries. Thank you, the community. Thank you, everyone that's here today commemorating 911 individuals. Is my good friend Robert. If you was to Google community activist, and he will be sitting there, and he will be speaking. I think that he might be a little controversial, but I'm gonna tell you some thousands of times. What he wants you to know is to make a point that somebody else wants, that nobody else wants to say what he said. Yeah. Say it, you'll mean it, but he'll put it out where you'll understand it.
Yeah.
I was listening to Lionel and Deborah. I was hearing a comment that Deborah said about duel, and Deborah and Robert, Batman and Robin, but I thought that we were Batman and Robin. and I just I'm going to share that platform. But I was Robin, and briefly, if you notice there on June, myself and Robert Body, JD Sweet, Michael Nicosi, and Pastor Rochelle Jr. Emeritus was in a meeting at Michael Nicosi's office. He was an attorney, black, downtown, and we was out, you know, about. I made the comment. I Juneteenth. And make Juneteenth possible. Well, Juneteenth. But I want you to know also sitting around many, many years ago. And Robert says, okay, well, I'm down. What are we getting into the schools? I said, well, that's going to be kind of tough to do. And this is what we did. We made a proposal. Myself and Robert went and talked to the superintendent from Central Kitsap and the superintendent from Bremerton. And we asked him, and we asked both of them, is it possible, could we come in on a weekly basis to mentor students of suited? We was persistent. So Kitsap School District, every week, we never missed a week. They did not let us come in at the end of the school. They made a period during the school.
Yeah.
Period where we came in and mentored issues in the community. And also, I had implemented a scare that I had before I got here. We took them to Monroe Prison. We took the girls, we took the guys to Monroe to give them a sobering look, to see what it's like there so you don't wind up there. We talked about kind of things that they were probably family members, and we monitored their grades. We made sure they stayed out of trouble. We were there to do. In summary, Robert Body, I'm gonna miss that brother. I think you're gonna miss him, and I just want to say this in conclusion: I love the brother. I want you to love the brother. In prayers, bless.
At this time, it's my to Mr. Curry on the Sacrifice Award. You want to pick?
I come up with you.
You can be in the middle.
Everybody get pictures.
Yeah. Thank you, community. Take time.
I'd like to call up Chief McCurdy from for our. This one's a little more dear to me, even though Mr. Body was also dear to me, but this I feel a little bit closer. This is Chief McCurdy.
And everyone, I'm Chief Petty Officer Travis McCurdy. Everyone to take the time to remember when 9/11 occurred. Foreign service speak about the oath of Christian's mate, technician, first class boss. He made that oath that day. So in his honor, we recognize these individuals to keep the name alive. And IT1 Sanabria is one of those individuals. He is our lead information system technician, Nayak Wibiali. He manages computer networks across a plethora of enclaves. He's in shot communication to advance the mission forward to people who responsible for those events like at 9. On top of that, he also is a plethora in the community in Oak Harbor. Tears at places like donation places, taking donations for the least fortunate. Junior List Association, our first class across the nation. Petty Officer Sanabria's sacrifice is for the greater good of something big itself. It's for our great Navy, our families, health. And in keeping with the traditions of the United States Navy, Petty Officer Nicholas Sanabria is well deserving of the Brian A. Moss 9/11 Sacrifice of Service Award. Thank you.
So at this time, I'd like to have Petty Officer to receive his award as presented by his Chief Petty Officer. Let's have some words, please.
I just want to say one more thing. This award, that also not all right. Does a ton. Everybody does a ton for his community. He's always looking out for people, and
those in their community job that base requirement that they ask you to leave your family, your physical energy, your mental and emotional energy, and I have definitely sacrificed more than I thought I had to give, and I only hope that my the rest of my Navy career can Mr. Moss. And just again, thank you to everyone for having me. Thank you for this honor. It is a very thank you.
I'm just a little bit emotional right now. Various people who have received the award for Brian Moss in his memory and his honor. And Tamache, thank you for sharing his story. This is my second year at this event, and just feeling over in terms of carrying on a legacy, and really appreciate the stories of community leadership as well as military leadership in our community. That's what Kitsap is. So again, thank you to Robert Body's dynamic duos. I think what I loved about that is that we do want to believe we have someone who's got our back, and he is one person who has provided that experience for many. And as far as Nicholas Salah, thank you for your service. Thank you for asking us to reflect on others who are in this and hear your story. So I just want to be respectful of time, so I won't go on because I'm inspired and emotional. But I'm asking our dignitaries today and our community leaders to reflect on the 21 years. And I ask that we kind of keep our time to 3 minutes. If I could, we're honored and privileged to have you here today as speakers to share with us their words and wisdom to reflect on the meaning of this day and what we can dream about. Towards looking towards a future where we stretch our hands and build new muscle memory, planning and preparing to advance the support required in times of need and inspiration. And just in reflection in the work that we do, this is life. It's not good news, bad news, good times, bad times. We're living life together. And I'm just really excited to hear. I'm going to start with Mayor Wheeler, if you could, with the reading of the proclamation. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Wow, this has been very emotional day. And, those of you who know me, I'm going to try to keep this in minutes. And also, I'm going to lead in with some remarks before to the proclamation. And I just thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. And I do want to reinforce what you heard. And just keep Robert Body and his loss to our community all close to you and in your heart. He was an organizer, a leader, one of the honors of the Juneteenth celebration we here enjoy in Bremerton. It was my great honor to present service award to him just recently. He helped start the Coalition Alliance, and he will be sincerely missed. Petty Officer Chief, thank you for your service. I know what you do for the country. I know what you're giving up. Thank you. I'd like to just take a few moments to say a few words in remembrance of 9/11, especially 2001, the terrorist attacks on our country. Today we commemorate those brave men and children we lost on that fateful day and the incredible bravery that occurred in the aftermath. The 9/11 memorial you see behind me stands as a testament to the tragedy and courage that happened a week ago. Evergreen Rotary Park Memorial connects to that terrible moment and remembers the terror, strength, and bravery on that day. To honor the victims, recognize the survivors and families, and honor the rescue and recovery workers. And we pay tribute to men and women who have served in the armed forces overseas and at home to protect our country and keep us safe. Communities like this one all over our country pay our respects to the lives lost, the sacrifices, and the heroism that happened on that bitter day and during the period afterward. Countless individuals are also giving back in a day of service, sacrifice of service, to bring help and hope to others in our community. The 9/11 Memorial stands as a powerful reminder to all of us to remember, and stands as an enduring about the strength and determination of our nation. It is my honor to be here today to recognize this important day in our history. Now I'd like to read the proclamation. Whereas on September 11th, 2001, the peace and security of our nation was shattered, killed nearly 3,000 innocent men, women, and children at the World Trade Centers in New York City, at the United States Pentagon, and in a field of Somerset County, Pennsylvania. And whereas, as we mark the 21st anniversary of the September 11 attacks on America, we hereby adopt this proclamation in tribute to those lost and injured on 9/11 and to many who gave themselves in service to their communities and to this country in the aftermath of the attacks. Whereas participating in service and remembrance activities is a positive way to honor the lives of those that were lost and to recognize the spirit of unity and dedication that occurred in the wake. Whereas the city of Bremerton acknowledges and supports the 9/11 Sacrifice of Service commemoration and community resource fair event being held on September 11th, 2022 from 9/11 at the Evergreen Rotary Park Amphitheater. And whereas the event serves to remember that fateful day and provides important resources for safe communities and emergency preparedness. Therefore, I, Greg Wheeler, Mayor of the City of Bremerton, do hereby proclaim September 11th as Sacrifice of Service Day in the city of Bremerton. And I urge all citizens to commemorate this day with remembrances and service activities. Signed this day, Greg Wheeler, Mayor of Bremerton. Sorry about this. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler. I just want to welcome up Senator Emily Randall. I know.
I'm much shorter. All right. Thank you so much for having Randall, and I have the great honor of representing the 26th district here in Kitsap. And I also have the great honor of growing up in this resilient community. Let me take these off. This community full of veterans, volunteers, and neighbors who love for each other. Parents here to Kitsap build strong communities, and they were inspired. There's everyone after each other, make our I was watching the news in the morning as I was getting ready to pull and saw the horrifying reality facing our country. But I also remember the scary aftermath in which so many of our neighbors were othered, neighbors of Middle Eastern descent who felt part. I remember the freedom fries. Could be a moment that tear apart. But this and the resiliency that I saw in the aftermath me to come together across. We saw it again, took on the COVID pandemic. We saw our members come together, sew masks, to bring meals to create resource and information every week in a meeting in the county to make sure that no one was left behind. And that is a spirit that inspires our neighbors. No one is left behind as we move forward through any crisis. So I'm proud to be here with you today to remember those lives that were lost, to affirm our commitment to our neighbors, the ones that we know and the ones that we don't, to ensure that we do better and better every next crisis that we face.
As we move through the reflections, I just wanted energy. Senator Randall walked in with tomatoes, a basket of tomatoes, and it just speaks with community in her heart. So,
Something to share with you.
okay, she has some to share, please. So I want to now welcome Congressman Derek Kilmer. Thank you.
I'd like to thank you all for being here. I'd like to Karen and Martita for putting this together, Tom for good words, and Emily. Each of us has moments in our lives that we won't forget, moments that stick with us. 21 years ago was one of those times, whether you were at school or in the office, as I was sitting on a plane on the runway at sea. The moment you heard that the World Trade Centers were struck. No matter where you were, we watched from our TV screens as the towers collapsed. The after Pentagon information came in about the hijackers and But something else happened that day. Outweigh
family and I have lived through that got me to office to begin with. And thinking about Robert and how sad we were and sharing in our grief as I'm driving him to the airport on 9/11, I was not comfortable with. And as I'm learning and growing over the last year and the work that I've done in the legislature around police reform and police accountability, this year I started to ride with the law enforcement, and I see Sheriff Giese up there, who's become a dear friend to me. Somebody who's been arrested many times and incarcerated. I didn't always have a trusting relationship with them. And so I, as your representative, have been growing in that and have been riding with them. And today I'm riding with the firefighters this afternoon for about 6 hours this evening. So, I've been developing and growing. And then one other thing is my son is in the field right now, sleeping in foxholes because he's a United States Marine family as well. And we haven't had military in our family. And so I'm learning more how to really respect our first responders of all kinds. My son graduated from basic training on August 12th, and now he's back at Marine Corps. So in foxholes with him, I'm sure the military members here can. But I want to say that all of us are first responders in some way, all of that serve our public, whether it is in the military or law enforcement, activists, we are all working together vision where everybody has access to health and safety, and especially our marginalized communities. And so I really appreciate that, Karen and Martitha, because I know your heart is to make sure we're bringing people from the margins and centering them in our work. In this community and build unity together. So thank you.
Thank you, state representatives. Thank you for modeling growth. I think always community. So I would invite Commissioner Wolf.
Back, okay. But I have to give kudos to Christina. But after listen to the passion, emotion, the feeling of those that were up here, the leaders that were up here, he won't soon leave my memory after today. So I mean that with my heart. I'll give Mark do it less than 3 minutes. Over here, my wife and I, Wendy, who's here, we had to remind each other, where were we? What we were doing 21 years on Marine Drive, 8 something in the morning, office in, not sure, I think it was in Old Town. My wife was going over Seattle for her job, and we said, wow, look what's for 21 years. And it changed not just our lives, but I think it changed all of our lives. Everything over the last 21 years. It's a pleasure to thank you, co-sponsors, Katie, putting this together, and to be here. It's a somber day about what happened. We know of that. That won't be part of my change all of our lives. And I'm sure all of you, if not all of you, what I want to say, I haven't heard the word too many times, but I know this today. First responders and military. As I remember looking at the TV for morning, remembering that what was the number, 3,000 or so people were killed 21 years ago. Today, in addition to everything we talked about earlier and all the emotion and the passion, I think we're here to honor our first responders that day 21 years ago and the military 21 years ago. I also want to suggest to you, because I'm sort of fading away here, I want to suggest to you that we have one of the best first responder networks in our county, not just Bremerton, not just Silverdale, not just Port Orchard. They all work together. I think Sheriff Giesey's up here. Sheriff Giesey works with all of the enforcement units. Fire and rescue, if there's an issue in one part of the county, they're all there together. So we have that unity right now. And I can just say on that point that I'm very, very proud of our community and coming together, doing this crisis that we had years and years ago. And we see it today coming together as a community. So we think about our national spirit in times of crisis, banding together for support and action. At that time, 21 years ago, we were all Americans. Following our plan was to help those that were in need. And that's what we're doing today. That's part of what we're doing here today. We've got the vigor in our community to help others. We've got our emergency management. We've got other organizations that I just mentioned. So when there are catastrophes like we're here to talk about today and commemorate, we have the power here to take control and work together, not just on this issue, but, and I'm seeing a co-founder shaking their heads positive. So that's good for me that you're shaking your heads in a positive manner, both of you. I feel strongly about that. And this, we need to remember our national unity, not just our local. This is me speaking, not as a politician, but as a person. Not just our local unity. We need to think about our national unity, and we've got to come together, continue coming together as we have in our worst days, rather than sow the seeds of division and partnership. And I feel that is happening, and I'm positive, and I want to believe that. So we won't forget the day, and I suggest to you that our valor and courage must live on, and these examples to be applied in our daily lives. And 3 minutes? Three. She's cutting me off. I'm out of here. Thank you. Glad to be here again.
Commissioner Burrow, thank you for your service. You served in the military branch. Army. And you're big shoes to fill. And what I heard from your words today and your personal words today was a higher level of unity. And I think that speaks to, it inspires me, because we have to look at things from the issue and just as a community work towards that. So thank you for that. I want to invite, who needs no introduction, she'll provide herself, Judge Flood. Thank you.
Which one? They're both black. Left. All right. I'm going to stand here. This sounds the loudest. Good morning. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and to think about 9/11 and how far we've come. And open your eyes. And it's the urgency of now. And when I say that in a way to understanding that tomorrow is not promised. We come here to honor what happened on 9/11. But we also have come here to honor our petty officer for his service as a fellow petty officer. Congratulations on your service. And Robert Body. So many things have happened. And when I stay with my 3 minutes, that's Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast, National Guard, our firefighters, all of our law enforcement agencies, our healthcare workers, our hospitals, the pandemic, the urgency of now. We have to remember to come together as a community, not only on a local level, but as the commissioner said, on a national level. as Congressman said, on a national level. Two things are guaranteed in this world is you're born and you die. What legacy do you want? Is what we need to ask ourselves. Do we want to be known as divisive? Do we want to be known as coming together to better where we live, where we sleep, where we work? And Robert Body was an agitator, but he was an agitator in a way that made change. Change is good. Not everybody believes that, though. So I leave you with this. Our branches of service are great here in America. Robert Body was defined as a Batman and Robin with T.C. Curry's words, as well as Miss Jackson's words. But I say to you, he will be missed. He invited people to the table. He was a voice for the voiceless. We need to fill those gaps. And this 9/11 is a reminder that we lost many, but we can continue to be their voices in community. Thank you.
Thank you, Bremerton Municipal Court Judge, for your service. I'd like to invite candidate for Judge, Commissioner Shane Seaman.
Thank you to everyone and our respected dignitaries. I want to say hi to everyone, and I want to say hi to Miss Jackson. I promised her the next time I saw her, I'd say hi to her. I'm following some really good speakers, and so I'll be quick to my 3 minutes. But I want to just talk a little bit about sacrifice today. So again, my name is Shane Seaman, and I'm a court commissioner here in the city of Bremerton. And 9/11 means something to me because after I attended OC right up here, I'm a local guy, I joined the United States Coast Guard. And that's my flag right over there. And it has a couple words on it that I think not only means something for all the branches, it says semper paratus, that means always ready. We also have another saying, and it means we have to go, we always have to go out, but we don't always have to come back. And that embodies every single person ever served in any capacity, whether it be Mr. Bob in a capacity here or anybody that's been in the military or first responders. And the point is that they're putting their lives out there for all of us. And you cannot replace what 9/11 means. Martita just asked me to quickly talk about what happened and how I remember it. And so when I was in law school, I'd come off my active duty. I was in law school, and I'd gone to class that morning. Like many of you, I watched in real time what had happened with the towers coming down, and it shook me to the core. I got a call about a week later that said, Shane, get ready. You're going to go to the Middle East. I didn't know what to do because I just got off of active duty, and I'm trying to go to law school and move on. But I packed that bag. My wife and I did not know what was going to happen. I'd been on train with the Navy when I was serving on one of the high endurance cutters over here on Pier 36. And so I was one of the people that was possibly going to go and serve. I never did. I was put on standby for 6 months, on and off, on and off, on and off. But I saw my fellow classmates go, and I saw them serve. And I knew people that didn't come back. The day it happened, my contracts professor, who actually I went to Gonzaga Jesuit University, worked for the Vatican. He disappeared because he had to go take care of some things from a national security level. It impacted us. In any event, I'll never forget all of that day and the heroes, the people that I knew that sacrificed, and every single one that have been here today that have spoke. Like Judge Flood, I mean, she served in the military, and I know that about her. And I personally honor her for that sacrifice. Robert Body and what he's done for the community. You're a great people here in Bremerton, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running in Kitsap County. I care about this community, and I think 9/11 is really a good time for us to come together and remember. So thank you. Again, I'm Shane Seaman, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Commissioner Seaman. I want to invite, we had on the agenda Chief of Police Tom Wolf, but I'm sure he is tending to something, yes, family emergency. So we would like to very much welcome Kitsap County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Giese. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm John, the Kitsap County Sheriff. So when you're the last after all these dignitaries speak, I mean, you've kind of run out of some material. So I have 3 minutes. I'll try and make it brief, but I appreciate our team for organizing this great event, recognizing community activism. Like where I was 21 years ago. First off, I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 30 years. And as I'm like the 6th decade of my life, I talked a lot about what happened. Reflecting on it, and I came to the realization that the men and women of the Sheriff's Office, many infants or not even potentially born at that time. And so I wanted to pass this message on to them. And it was the message of what I was doing that morning. That morning I woke up and the first order of business was to go to a local Red Cross Board of Directors meeting. And at that meeting, and we were watching the towers and they had been hit and everything was stunning. I mean, just absolutely stunning. And like most of the country, I was shocked. I didn't know what I was witnessing. I didn't know what it meant. And our president of the board of directors at that time was a rather salty lady named Phyllis Mann. And many of you might remember Phyllis. Phyllis was a former Navy nurse, and she was very blunt, and she spoke her mind, and she led our Department of Emergency Management. And her words were, "This doesn't surprise me. America has many enemies. What surprises me is it took so long for this attack to happen." And it was a shock to me. I think it was a shock to a lot of us in this country that something like that happened. After that meeting, I went to work that day. And again, we watched the TV. We watched it all unfold. We didn't know what we were seeing. We were shocked. At some point in that morning, a warning went out to all local law enforcement agencies. The FAA had grounded all the planes that day. They told them all to land immediately. There was one plane up in the Northwest that did not land and lost contact to. And there was a few moments of like, what does that mean? What does that mean for us? What does that mean for us in Kitsap County? We just did not know. I think the big takeaway from that day is we were all stunned and everybody wanted to do something. As a board of directors, member of the Red Cross, Derek mentioned the Red Cross, and people did. They gave money, they gave blood. They wanted to do something. Money poured in all sorts of different ways into the Red Cross. We had little kids collect money on the street corner and drop it off at the door of the Red Cross. People wanted to do something. And in our profession, we wanted to do something. We had deputies and officers and fire all offered to go to New York to help in any way they could. And in fact, there were streams of fire engines and police cars that made their way all across the country to go to help. We wanted to do something. I think in our community, what I saw and what I felt was we really came together. We really felt that we needed to do something. We didn't do, but for a brief moment in time, we did come together. And there was so much good that was happening and so much positive feelings. I reflected on our country is a country of ideals. We're a vision, and we've had to change what that vision looks like. We want to be inclusive to everybody in our vision. But, I reflect how important that event was, how it impacted so many lives, 3,000 lives lost, 350 fighters, 70 police officers. I mean, it impacted so many of us for so long. I think now what brings us together in our world right now? I don't see very many opportunities for that to happen. And I wish that wasn't so. I wish it doesn't take a disaster or a horrible event like this. But I reflect now, and I've told my folks, law enforcement and firefighters, we're honored to serve. It's a duty, and after that event, we had something of love and respect for our professions. It was truly amazing. And our folks always have to remember, you have to appreciate all that, deal with it with humility. We have a great respect of our community, but we also owe our community a tremendous duty too. So I told my young folks, people who wanted to go into this profession, we are honored to serve. And the thing about police work or firefighters is you go to work that day and you don't know what's going to happen. Be ready. You have to be prepared. And I have good men and women in my department, as all the departments here do, firefighters, law enforcement officers. We're ready to serve. But I want you to know we always appreciate the love and support we get from our community. We really do. 9/11 was a horrible event that doesn't even register to many of our people in our department because they didn't live through it. But there'll be other events in the future, and we'll live through it. But I felt honored to be able to pass along my message to my folks. It's important. So thank you, everybody, for your support. And I know I speak on behalf of all the men and women of the Sheriff's Office, but I know I speak on behalf of all the first responders here in Kitsap County. Thank you for your appreciation and your support. So thank you.
Before I move us on to our co-founders speaking and closing out the event, I just wanted to acknowledge, thank you for all the voices across the sectors. So we talked about the professions, but it's also community and professions. So whether it was our criminal justice system, our elected officials, the military, law enforcement, just very, very excited to say we're all talking about unity and help this, whether it was 21 years ago, 2 years ago, today, when our power goes out and we're all calling Puget Sound Energy and trying to figure out how to help each other and make sure we get a ride to our whatever we need to do to get somewhere, do something. So I just wanted to celebrate everyone here for being here. I'm hoping this inspires each of you, and thank you. I want to just acknowledge this, Miss Kitsap and Miss Polsbo for being here as well. I'm sure your service and going around and helping the community is equally important. So what I want to do is invite the group, meet someone today, meet a new neighbor, find out where they were 21 years ago, what their reflections are. You guys have inspired me to think about it. I'm not going to talk. I gave you 3 minutes. I'm giving myself 1 minute. So I want to introduce the two co-founders, the founder, Latch founder, 9/11 SOS, Akuya Karen Vargas, to speak, as well as Martita May Kitsap Mesa Londa, co-founder. Yeah.
Hello, family. Hey, family. Part of the human family. I've been reflecting as we've been here today, and I've reflected over the years. 9/11 really shook our nation. We've also had Katrina that shook our nation as well. And during that time, as I reflected, I said that if we don't do prevention and prevention, when tragedies strike, we will not respond in a way that is helping one another and unifying and strengthening our community. I've served our nation. My husband and I, our community members, have served this nation as well as our county and our communities. And I believe that we can be better and we can do better. I believe that we have to be intentional about breaking down barriers that divide us instead of unifying us. I look around today and I can say that I'm disappointed in a lot of ways because I believe that this park should be filled with our law enforcement, our first responders, doing trainings, getting to know their community, their neighbors, and our law enforcement that are here. I commend you. Our leaders that are here, I commend you. But I also believe that we can do better and that we can be better. We've been here advocating to unify and strengthen our community with public health and safety for the last 7 years. And I believe that we have to shift the paradigm as we move forward because we don't know what tomorrow holds for us. I remember back in 2015 when the entire county was here and they were preparing at the Admiral Theater to inform our community about disasters and about community preparedness. Our military was there, our law enforcement, first responders, legions, everybody was there. But I did not see communities of color and their leadership that needed to be at the table so that when disaster struck, all of our communities could respond in an educated, informed way that could be able to save lives in the midst of emergencies. And so I reached out to Patty Lynn at the time. I went and I said, Martita and I, we sat down, we said, we've got to make sure that represented have the resources, they have the information, they preparedness for the entire community, and they made sure that that was happening. And here I was living on Bainbridge Island, and I said, but my community in Bremerton, they are not getting the same resources, the same information, the same amount of care. And I said, what do we need to do to make sure and ensure that these things are happening for all of our communities? So here we are. We sit here today in the midst of 2022. And I say to our community here, what will we do next as we prepare? As we begin to ensure public safety and ensure emergency preparedness and ensure we know who our neighbors are and we sure that we are reaching out and breaking down those barriers and coming together, unifying and strengthening our community. This is not, okay, my pastor, the late Bishop Lawrence Ray Robertson will say, Karen, this is not a rebuke. This is an opportunity for us to do better and be better. And so I say that all to say, as I look around and I see all of our neighbors in here, please let us be more intentional on what this event means for the saving of souls, because that's what it's all about. It's all about, it's not if, but when it happens. What will we do and how will we respond and how will we be helpers one of another? That's where the rubber meets the road. And so as we move forward, I invite you and welcome you all to think about how we can strengthen our communities and strengthen the message of saving of soul and saving of our family members. Because you know what? Community is only made up of us. Families. And all of our families will be affected when emergencies or tragedies or things happen. So as we move forward, I have to take a minute because I wasn't even aware that Perry A. Thompson, one of our own community members here, died at 9/11. Hasn't been said, hasn't been mentioned. He was A&on Insurance. He was on the 98th floor at the Twin Towers when it came down. His wife is here. She came to me. She said, my husband died in the towers. And I did not even know that. We've been here for 7 years. We don't even know what's happening with our community members and with family and loved ones that are right next door. We have to do better to understand and help support. We are helpers one of another. We are helpers one of another. And so again, I thank all of the dignitaries, all those that came and spoke, but I wanted us to think about how we will move forward to strengthen and to unify our community. Thank you.
Gracias, Karen. Let's see. Can you hear me? I just want to say thank you. Karen covered everything. I don't want to repeat. Just wanted to say yes. Reflection. I'm a retired military wife, and we feel the pain that all the families went through. My respect, and we honor also your husband, Mr. Thompson, Chief Thompson, and so sorry for your loss. I do remember, what I was doing that day. Was ready to go to volunteer at school, and my husband at that time, my ex, called me and said, "Please stay home. Look at the TV to be okay, because I know that you care for people, and there are people right now that the country, we don't know what's going to happen." So it really impacted all of us. Remember my family in Mexico calling us because they knew that my husband at that time, he was in the military. They wanted to know if he was there or where he was. So that impacted everybody, the entire community. And I just stayed home. I think we canceled everything at schools. And from that, kept committing, helping the community. And just wanted to pay respect to Mr. Buddy. We worked together. He was in Central Kitsap High School. My son was also that time with Katie. I think Congressman Assistant Katie also was, with the same school than my son. And Mr. Buddy approaching the students, being a mentor. And she said, "Matita, you're in the community, come over." So we were at the Central Kitsap School District Board of Diversity, making sure that, inclusion and just talking with the students, to be better and to graduate, just to be safe in the community. Be an example and a role model. So my respect to his family, and I'll be missing his text messages. We came really close, and every holiday, every Mother's Day, I have my last message that he sent me saying, "Are you doing okay, Martita? Happy Mother's Day." Sending. So he's so dear to all of us, and we're certainly going to miss him. And I just wanted to acknowledge and say thank you, Chief, for being here. Thank you, everybody. Commissioner Seaman, thank you. Vote for him. He's running for Kitsap County judge. So my respects to everybody. My respect to you. I call Miss Tara my sister. Thank you for all your contribution to our country, to our community. Sweet Senator Emily Randall, thank you for being here. Mayor, thank you. And favorite commissioner, don't tell anybody. Thank you. And all respect for the military. Sanabria, felicidades. Yeah, it's an honor having you here. Tomachi, thank you. Miss Christina, thank you. And I just want to say, I'm going to invite Tomachi. He wants to say the last words here, but I just want to invite you to come and visit the woods. And hopefully next year we can have more military, more law enforcement here for us to award them. And we really want to award the first responders. So we're so looking forward the support to give an award to those who are the front line. Thank you so much. And it is my pleasure being here. And with you. Thank you.
Oh, so I'm a little taller. Again, good morning and thank you everybody for coming. All the speakers that have had words, our awardee, Mr. Body. We would like to also, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that one of our key assistants is not here today. Smoke's kind of dealing with her asthma. It's Miss Elise Charles and her daughter Leah. And one other thing I needed to mention about my friend Brian, or he'd be rolling over. I don't. As far as the research that we have done, he was the only submariner killed in the 9/11 attacks. So he's singular. I would invite you all to visit the booths and get the information as you can. If you'd like to see the 9/11 memorial, if you have not, it's at the far end of the park. We also have coffee, some water, and some snacks. Please feel free. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Oh, one other thing. Mr. Cameron here, Marwan Cameron, will be conducting interviews for those of you that like to have comments and reflection with the Conduit podcast. So feel free to come up and talk to him as you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Marwan. Thank you. Thank you, Marwan. Here's some coffee.
This is the microphone. See you.
Yeah, and Christina.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Did you still have the microphone?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know how to.
just wanna, can you put it? Can you hear me? Which one?
Turn it on.
I just wanted to.
Turn it on.
Before everybody goes, please, I would like to, if you can come and say hello to Miss Christina, our MC, that she's always dedicated. So please come say hello to Christina, and thank you, Christina, for your support. Thank you.
You're so proud, Mama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, by the flag.
Yes, we need that.
I'm right here. Right here?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's what
Over here? Yeah. Right here? Yeah. Here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chief, where do you want me? At you we need you. Chief, there's somewhere here. They really did.
This may be an indicator of bigger things to come, Chief. So I don't know. So
I did apply for an officer position this year.
Oh, good.
All right.
Okay, everyone happy? Yeah, good? Okay. Great.
Everybody got him?
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
My goodness.
Okay.
Nice to see you
You
get
did
great.
it little, man. You got the award.
Yeah.
I know. How's it time this weekend?
Yes. Thanks for all you're doing there, Chip. Yeah, that's immersion, full immersion in a lot of different things.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate that.
Good job, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you
Sir, I
for
hope you're doing right by the memory. Ryan.
Did you want us to sign that?
Do what you do.
Christine write this one for all of us?
Do what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he when we was on the boat, he had the prettiest writing,
Yeah.
and he typed the fastest. So when we were doing battle stations, he said, "Man, how come I always got to type these op reps?
And I get it.
Because you're the fastest. Sit down." Man,
That's
I hate
stick
this.
with it.
It's your fault. You're the one that's got to type with the pretty fingers. So
I know it.
how are you guys gonna get any faster? We're not. That's why we got you.
It's a little angry.
You guys suck. Yeah, but you don't. So sit down.
Sometimes, you know, when you're doing good, when you get told to stop doing so good because you're making everybody else look bad.
Yeah.
You end up getting stuck with that thing.
Yeah, that was. He's like, "Man, you guys don't respect me." Shut up.
Yeah.
Then when he got over there, he's like, "Oh, I guess you're where they respect you now." Yeah. Yeah, they respect me.
Right.
Shut up and get out of here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the 9/11 memorial is all the way at the corner of the park. You can see the flag. It's got two beams from one of the towers, and on the ground is timing of everything that happened. Usually we've been over there, but this year we just moved here. In years gone by, we've run into not an issue or nothing, but the chief selectees have been up there for morning colors, so they do their colors when they leave. But they weren't there today. They did their thing on base.
We can do that.
And then tonight, though, there's actually going to be a much of a ceremony that's going to be up there. Like, the city will probably start coming to set up soon. I think they put a couple hundred at the orchestra or whatever. It's a bigger deal than this one. But we're growing. We're growing. Oh, and I was telling your chief, I'd like to keep your contact because I haven't had any coins for Brian, but I'm gonna. And when I get them done, you get the first one.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah.
The first
I got a mini collection on my desk.
Nice. I got one on my desk too. I got one on my desk too.
Absolutely.
How long you been in?
Gonna be 7 years soon.
Nice. Chief?
18 and a half.
Ah. Extend longer. Okay, that's all right. There's still some waters and some sparkling water. It should be cold right now. And we got coffee and muffins and stuff. So please feel free. They got these information booths. I know you guys got a long drive back, so be careful. These booths are out. It's early.
Yeah.
They're trying to get their quota early.
Yeah.
5X.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Left a Dixie cover at home. Just barely got another one.
See, there's always something. Like I had a dream, like I woke up and it was like 7:30, and like I gotta be here like 8, and it was just because I had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I wound up getting up and then just got back in bed and the alarm goes off. I'm like, how it goes?
I hear you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
It's an honor.
Good job. Congratulations. Well deserved.
You've been working out with
All right, Light, ready?
Yeah.
How do you want to do this? Are we okay like this?
No problem.
I want to say hi. You got it.
Right? Yeah, maybe.
I'll send you It's like, no, really.
All right.
I was smiling.
It's been many. We were
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, sure.
I mean, I usually start 1:30, so I go ahead of that.
Okay. So I know you want to probably keep it off our city. Why don't you give it a couple times? If you could. Right now.
Anywhere here in the close wherever you want to go after starting around 11.
Can I get your, do you have a phone number? I can get your card.
That's my campaign.
That's perfect. Yep, I will give you a call. Yeah, I'll call you like today or tomorrow. And then we'll set up something. I'll have my calendar in front of me. Yeah. Yeah, good job. Good job. I didn't know you were Coast Guard veteran.
Yeah, Coast Guard is it's got me started on the life.
Yeah. Most of us have some background like that. I was Navy. And, yeah, it's cool about our community. You know.
Well, it is cool because you see a lot of people that hear that same connection to kind of service. And I think
Yeah.
that's what drives a lot.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, I feel it here. I do. So, I do the same here. Yeah. Good. Okay.
What is up?
Good job.
Thank you, Shane.
Hey, you. Give me a hug. Thank you.
Thank you for giving the cake last night.
Oh, that was awesome.
It was delicious, right?
Oh, yeah. It was
I
good.
love the champagne cake.
Yeah,
That was delicious.
I was happy to get it because you're like, get that one, get that one. And so everybody at my table said, I said, what do you want? I said, Martita says the champagne cake is
Yeah,
really good.
highly
And they said,
recommended.
Okay.
I deserve the peace. Highly
Yeah.
recommended.
I'm gonna go thank these guys for their service here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry about the having you guys had to rush through it. Yeah, I understand. I really appreciate I want to help you. Yeah, it's cool. Okay. Yeah, and yeah, if you want to pre-plan a little bit, you know, work out any details. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what?
Man. I gotta take notes from you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we had it, believe it or not, we had it prepared, ready to go. It's not how I usually I understand. I had honestly given up on that. See
you later.
Hey.
Have a great day. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean when I say that. I was going to you were probably in the same position I was. It's like you ultimately probably are responsible for your students. No.
Artists have been one of my and then you have the foundation, and the foundation is the funding.
Okay.